Well, first thing you do when you get Chinese aftermarket parts, before you go painting them all up, is check them for damage and make sure you can get them on the car. Well, after wrestling this bumper cover, it's on the vehicle. Doesn't fit perfect. It's got a little bulge out here. These are aftermarket headlights. It's got my dirty handprints all over it. But at least the lights work and both sides fit about the same. I would say that this driver's side fits a little better than the passenger, but maybe not by much. I don't have the headlights bolted super secure. I need to do a little work on this hood. There was an Audi here that I had to tap down and block down to make sure that I could repair that. And the only other thing I found on the bumper cover, and the plastic that covered it with the bubble wrap wasn't even messed up, but there's some gouges in it, so I got to take care of those. Almost looks like there's an air void in the plastic right there, but I don't know. It doesn't fit terrible. It's just my hood gaps aren't right. And here's the old hinges from the hood side, from the original hood. I think I put them over here. No, they're not over here. Let's go for a little walkabout here. They're bent, not bad, but these little guys right here, I probably could have straightened them and left them on, but it's no big deal. Here's where the pivot bolt goes through, and I don't know that it's easier to change the hood that way, but once I get it aligned, I really don't want to be sliding these bolts around, so throw those in the garbage pile. My gaps are not horrible, but they're not good either. I would consider that an acceptable gap right there, but it's getting real wide down here. And I tried pushing the fender in a little bit, but it didn't work. This side's too tight, and the hood's rolled down just a little on that edge, looks like. And I might need to pull up on it. But this gap back here is too tight, so it's almost like the hood needs to move diagonally. And I have no adjustment. I have nothing. It will not slide. I did try raising the hood and shoving it and bending the hinge that way just a little bit, and leaving this one loose and leaving the other side tight so I could bring that gap that way a little bit and hopefully close this up. But I think we're going to have to resort to elongating the hinge bolt holes where it bolts to the hood. But other than that, we're looking pretty good. Let's see. I'm going to go shut those headlights off before I kill the battery, and then I have to jump start this thing. But so far so good. It's just a wrestling match to get that bumper cover on. And who knows, I may end up painting that bumper cover on the car and then painting the hood separate on another day. Or painting it all at once, I really don't know. One thing I can say is it was such a fight to get the bumper cover on. I don't want to paint it and damage it. One thing I noticed here that looks kind of ridiculous. So the hood doesn't even come close to lining up right there. Now if I shove it over, it will, but maybe it's not meant to, because this side is inward of the corner of the hood as well. So maybe that doesn't line up normally. I've never taken one of these cars apart before. The center body line, it's pretty close. It almost looks like it needs to go that way just a little on the hood, because I really can't close up anything on that side over there on the bumper cover. I can't push the bumper cover that way. Again, if it's not perfect, that's not the end of the world, but I would like to get that body line straight in line with this one. But this is all inexpensive aftermarket parts. The hood is a Kappa certified hood. The bumper cover is not a Kappa part. I have better luck with Kappa parts from Keystone or LKQ, whatever. I just picked these up online. They weren't ridiculously expensive, but the amount of time I'm going to have to put into this hood, I probably need an hour to get it aligned, and then repairing it. Like I said, that spot right there, that's folded a little, and The hood is sitting just a tiny bit proud, maybe 1/8 of an inch proud of the fender. There's some dents on the fender too. So I may blend into the fenders and just fix that real quick. This side's up even worse. And I don't really want to push down on it too hard. Maybe put a board across it and push down. It's almost like the hood's crowned in the middle more than it needs to be, because back here it's real close, both sides. I don't know if maybe I don't have the bolts drawn down. Yeah, that looks just fine. The hood bolts are loose on this side and the other side because I was trying to jerk it around. But that's what I got as far as part fitment. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that stuff. And next clip or next vid, we're going to be repairing some stuff on that hood and on that bumper. And then we'll get the hood back off of the car and get it cut in on the inside. And then put it, because I will paint it on the vehicle. So, alright, we'll bring you back when I have more. Alright, I wiped this stuff down real quick just to check for further damage, of which I found none on the hood, just that dented up spot. It's wax and grease remover. It was shinier a minute ago, but I got the heat going and it's flashing off. Cleaned it pretty good, and when it's shiny you can see dents and eyelashes. But that's about it. So we're gonna probably just wipe this spot. I'll feather it out with some 180 grit and wipe it with a little bit of either putty or some filler. It shouldn't need much. You can probably see the few little, let me get out of the shadow here, little dark spots in the middle. Those are lows. I had to tap that metal down a couple times because it was high, but we're gonna try and float that out. So get that wiped, and then I'll show you guys how I repair stuff like this. This repair is for my buddy's 16 or 17-year-old little brother. So I may not do it the 100% right way, only because this car has already been in one front end collision, plus this one. The wrong thing to do, but you may get away with it, is to just sand this back a little bit with some 180 and wipe it with glazing putty, feather it out, prime it, and paint it. A lot of shops do that. It's not the right thing to do. You should use a plastic repair filler, of which I will show you what I have. I just hate the way this stuff sands. This stuff right here, this is Fuser 142. 3M makes a product. I think Fuser makes another product too. This one's an adhesive and a filler, so you can sand it. This one may sand poorly compared to maybe their regular filler. Another thing, I'm going to do a shout out, and of course we're going to have to set my phone down because it locked itself. Alright, here we go. Go check this guy out right here. Let's see. This guy right here, Motivated Painters. I thought maybe there would be a better, maybe a picture or something for his page or his avatar, but go check this guy out. I think he's a painter in Canada. He does some really nice work. He's a collision repair painter, so go check him out. Okay, so I think you saw these scratches before, and the way to go about repairing these according to the Lord Fuser instructions: sand down a little bit with 180 to 180. I'm not getting carried away with 80 grit. There's no paint on this. There's just some, the factory primer. It's like a waterborne primer. I'm doing it by hand. These are just little gouges, so I'm going to try and sort of contain my 180 scratches, because I do not want 180 scratches all over this bumper. And when I prime this, I'm going to spot prime it. You just don't want to get too carried away with these 180 scratches. There's no reason to get crazy. You might fold your paper a little bit and wherever it's gouged, kind of V it out a little bit. Get a little scratch in there. Again, this isn't real bad. I should be wearing plastic or rubber gloves when I do this instead of wiping my dirty hands on it, but for the sake of this video, we're gonna do it this way. Basically, you don't want a bunch of loose plastic. This one looks like a pinhole right here. There we go. Okay, those are gouged out, and then I have just a little, let's see if I can bring the camera over without aggravating it too much. I have a wide angle lens on this too, and it may, once I start moving, not want to focus because I had to zoom it in. But that actually chewed on the plastic a little. This one I will probably not put any filler over. I may just prime that. I just don't want a bunch of loose fuzzies. Now 180 grit will give you the fuzzies on this, so you just got to be careful with it. If there's anything underneath it, I won't be too concerned with it, but that's basically what you need to do. Just open that up, and it says to use some of their surface modifier, and I don't have it. It's basically a plastic adhesion promoter. We may put a little paper up there and squirt a little bulldog on it and let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes and go ahead and put the filler on it. So I will bring you back then. All right, sorry for the background noise, but I got a little electric heater going in the background, keeping things warm. Here's the adhesive. I've already purged it so that I know it's mixing. And I'm just going to sort of go over all the little spots. I'm not going to get too carried away because I don't want a bunch of this on there. Got a little spreader. Trigger a little out of the tip onto your spreader, but this stuff just doesn't spread out very nice. It looks like I may have a little piece of plastic that decided to come loose there. Do make a thinner version of this product that spreads much easier for little gouges. That may be about it. That may be just what I needed. Stuff doesn't have a real long working time. I think it's a couple minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. But worst case scenario, now if you're not happy with your results, since this is a fairly rigid part of the bumper, oh yeah, that's starting to tack up real good. Then you can always fill any minor imperfections with some of your lightweight filler or something. I mean, you should try and do it with this, but if it doesn't work out perfect, you can always touch it up. All right, last scene that you guys had was putting some of that fuser bumper repair compound on these gouges here, and I can say it was a fail. I ended up digging it back out, and I went and got some SEM problem plastic repair, and it feather edged decent. I've got a pinhole there and a couple scratches. I think those are 80 scratches, so I want them to go away. Now, I didn't dig into this out here. This is not the raw plastic. The raw plastic is black that's underneath this. What I'm going to do is put some dolphin glaze over this entire repair area back to the primer where I have it scuffed. And I don't know what this is, if they've got some sort of filler that goes underneath that, but when I sanded with sandpaper past this, it's actually black, so that is the plastic. Normally I would say that would be the plastic, but it doesn't seem to be. Maybe they put two different primers on this, don't know. We'll find out whether we have adhesion when I go to feather edge it. This dent came out good. I will re-guide coat it and block this with some 320 to finish it off to get all the scratches out. I do have a little bit of something going on up here that I'm going to wipe. This was a dent from the inside, like something got swatted on it. Also, this corner was folded down. I put a dolly underneath it and took a slapping spoon and beat it down, and it looks like it worked pretty good. So I'm going to wipe all these with filler, and I'll show you the finished product. Alright, there's what you got. A couple repairs on the hood. Notice I do not have this car bagged all the way up. I'm just priming these two little spots. Use low pressure, be careful. Car's covered in dust, we shouldn't have a problem. This was that little folded down edge, and you can see where it feathered out there. There might be a skosh of a low spot in it, but it's way better than it was. Now I've wiped the perimeter and all the steel off with water-based wax and grease remover. And we're going to put epoxy over all that steel just because there's a lot of it, and that's too much for my taste for just 2K primer. Here is the repair. Now it looks like it's got some big gouges in it, but this was only sanded with 240. So either the filler didn't stick in the scratch, or it's got some guide coat stuck in it and I needed to sand farther. We're going to go with throw some primer down and see what I see. If I still got scratches in it with the primer, I'll wipe it again, but I don't want to keep wiping this and sanding it, because you keep sanding farther and farther into it, and before you know it, you're going to be back into raw plastic. So I'm going to get some epoxy on this, and I'll bring you guys back in a little bit so you can see the finished priming product.